tall, honor written in every flight, leading hearts toward the light. Every mission, every scar shows the world just who we are, not by medals, rank, or fame, but by kindness in our name. Stand together, hand in hand, building hope across this land. Every voice, every soul, courage is our greatest goal. Unveiling valor, hear the call. We rise together, standing tall. Captain Kindness leads the way, lighting hope for every day. Heroes never fly alone. Every heart can be a whole. Honor, courage, strength, and grace. Together we can change this place. When the darkness fills the sky, hope reminds us we can fly. Lift each other, never fall. Love is still the strongest call. Dreams are built by those who dare, serving others everywhere. Every act of selfless grace leaves the world a better place. Red, white, blue, the mission starts with me and you. Not for glory, not for pride, but for those still fighting inside. The greatest heroes you'll ever know help someone else to rise and grow. Unveiling valor, hear the sound. Hope and courage all around. Captain Kindness, lead us on until every fear is gone. Heroes never fly alone. Together we are stronger than stone. Honor lives in what we do. America believes in you. Be kind, be brave, be the light. Unveiling valor, where heroes never fly alone.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you, sir?
Well, we're busy as can be, as always. Mary Stanley, what a wonderful, wonderful organization you have put together here with us in our Golden Rule Society Charities organization. Oh, many, many, many years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are here with us, first thing I want you to know is that we're not selling anything, but we're helping to make it a better world for everybody. And why not? Because it's all started many, many years ago when I graduated high school. And my dear mother, God bless her, was going off to the Navy. And she said, Lenny, I want you to remember something, that wherever you go, whatever you do, whoever you meet, be kind. And those two words are in my heart, my soul, and my mind. And it's just trying to be people, help them to be more successful in their life. And why not? Helping others. That's why we're here, rather than trying to be knocking people down and this and that and the other. So anyway, that's what's been going on. And here you are with one of the programs. And this program that we started many, many years ago. And it was after high school, I mentioned that I went to the Navy. And the Navy said, hey, kid, you did pretty good on the test. Looks like you had a couple of years of college. I looked at them and I said, must be true. I've never been to college. And he said, well, your response to all the questions and everything we got. He says, well, anyway, what does that mean? And they said, well, You're in line if you want to take the tests that would allow you to go to Navy flight training program. And I said, I never heard much about that, flying airplanes, but they pursued. And the next thing I knew, I was down in Pensacola, Florida, flying Navy airplanes, learning how to be a real naval aviator. Oh, wow, that was really, really exciting. Long story short, I was about a senior, I was a senior aviator and still not a high school graduate, in effect. It tugged at the heartstrings to get it because I was a teenage ensign and it were very, very successful. Matter of fact, for those who might be listening, if you ever saw the movie Top Gun, uh, you're listening to Len Kaine, who was the East Coast Top Gun for the Navy, and the next one was the All Navy Top Gun. And the Navy thought well, that was great, so I liked what I did, and they made me a fighter instructor pilot. And now I'm an instructor for anybody that flew airplanes. And it was worked out just absolutely super duper. And to tell you that, again, I'm not trying to brag about myself, but this is stuff that we did. We went into combat using the tactics that I was developing. And we just went into combat over in Vietnam. And we were there for more than 9 months. And the nice part about it, we flew and did not lose a single airplane in combat. Now that tugs at the heartstrings because we were going, and the guy that was the head of the Air Force in the Pacific, by the way, wonderful man, in World War II, he shot down 7 the Nazi airplanes, 7 of them. And here he was, heads of the Air Force, and he's there supervising all the what that was going on in the Vietnam War. And he decided he wanted to come over and find out what we were doing, what I was doing, to keep our pilots not losing a single airplane. And again, tugs at the heartstrings, not to lose anybody while you're in combat. And that was so good. So he spent a full day with us, and his assistant was there. And they said, Len, tell us, how do we do this? And they gave it a nickname. They called it the Capt program. Last name of Kaine Air Tactics. And it was jokingly like Kaine Air Tactics. And they all got involved in it. And they all got to be better airplane pilots in fighting and combat. It was super. And that's the nicest part about it. All that went, that it continued expanding to not just the Air Force, but anybody and anybody. And that gentleman that was an ace in World War II, every day a week almost to get to me aboard the USS Enterprise, which is a Navy carrier we were based on. And he said, man, that's the wonderful part of it. We are doing the work with you, for you now, and we have cut our losses virtually in half. And that, again, tugs at the heartstrings. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the guy that's been there and done that. And we kept going on and on. And Mary, I would like very much to you to tell a little bit about your family. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a wonderful story to add to what Mary Stanley does. She served in the military for 15 years. And she heard about our Golden Rule Society charity here in the San Diego area, California. And she came out and said, I'm interested in what you're doing because it just sounds wonderful. Well, we all felt good about that because yes, it was wonderful because we were helping people to be more successful in everything that they were doing. And she came aboard and became one of the leaders of the organization. Very well organized. Oh, terrific. Matter of fact, I got to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Just this past year, she was selected #1 in the San Diego, California area, the #1 female in the manufacturing and creating of organizations that are making people more successful. Not selling anything, just helping people to be more successful and take advantage of what was going on in the world, saying the prayers and being successful. What a way to live. And you're welcome to join because, again, we're not selling anything. Because people say, oh, yeah, yeah, pretty soon I'm going to have to pay that. No, no, no. We don't sell anything because people, they make donations to us, our Golden Rule Society charity. And we say, look, if you want to make a donation for all the things that we're doing and you're doing, make a donation to your church, your charity, your organization. That way they know who you are and you know where their money is going. Because if you give it to our Golden Society, what we do is we give it to others. Why not? Because we don't do this to make money. We're all non-paid volunteers. And that's what makes it wonderful. Mary, I would love for you to come in and tell us a little bit about your wonderful, wonderful daughter, your wonderful young man, your son, your husband, who's a super duper guy, and tell us a little bit about all that's going on in your family because it's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mary Stanley. If you can, at the time, help with your wife. Sadly, Mary had a very bad week health-wise, but she's back right with us. Mary, are you with us okay?
I
Please?
am here with you. We're having a little bit of connection issues in my world, so I ended up with two children after the military, and both of them are different variations of special needs. And so that's what I do for a living is I help families understand what autism is and helping veterans understand PTSD and how to overcome their triggers. When it comes to the kids, I've been blessed. My daughter created a program when she was 5 years old called the Kindness Club for Kids. And it's all about not just being kind to other kids, but understanding and being kind to yourself as well. And it's simple things like thank you and please, opening the door, doing your homework, doing your chores. Um, we are currently in 1,500 schools worldwide, and we've expanded into churches as well in the faith-based program. And we are in 200 and some schools now, or churches as well. And we're in different faiths, and everything can be modified and converted. And now we have one book published, and we're working on our second one. So my daughter writes children's books to explain what life is like with your brain being wired differently and how to deal with society. And it's the stories of the struggles that her and her brother have and how to work together, featuring Captain Kindness himself.
Oh, That's just super duper. Your children are wonderful. You were a great leader, and terrific organization. And I want to tell you a little story that slides into what Mary is talking about. I spent 27 years in the Navy, flying fighters and being an instructor and all that sort of stuff. And in the San Diego area, we had an airline, Pacific Southwest Airlines. And they said, Len, now that you're finished with the Navy, why don't you come aboard and be one of our instructor pilots? Because we have this organization, they have a dozen pilots that they need to be trained and to be good qualified fighter, not fighter pilots, but airline pilots. I said, well, I'd be happy to do that. And the organization, because we were Pacific Southwest Airlines, and so I work with these 12 of these pilots and teaching them. And the next week, we found out that the organization that they were representing, it was Southwest Airlines, and they're still in business for all the work that we did with them, and it was marvelous. And one of the fun stories that I was flying one Christmas, I got two wonderful Christmas presents, one for my mother and one's for my wife. They were two of the same very nice things that you put on your shirt collars, and that's really great. Well, I wasn't going to use two of those same gifts. So I got on the airplane one day and I said, ladies and gentlemen, here's what happened. Got these two gifts. I want to trade one anybody on the airplane. Not trading or anything like that. It's just so people would make little notes while they're flying along. Okay, I'll swap it for that. I'll give you this to that. And just a long story short, not to bore you, but that's what we did. And round numbers, we raised hundreds, maybe thousands of gifts. And what did we do? We got all the gifts and said, here they are. And we went to every church and charity and the organizations in the San Diego, California area. And we said, here they are. Here are the gifts. And you can share them with the churches, charities, whoever you want. And hot stuff, the gifts that we put together, we raised over $1 million. $1 million. And the money, all the money went to the churches and the charities and organizations that were part of charity in the San Diego, California area. It still tugs at the heartstrings to know we're going to be helping others. And what happened was my good buddy, golfer, was also an attorney. And when he found out that we raised over $1 million, he said, Len, we got to do something. People are going to say, yeah, what's Len Kaine doing with his money? And what he did, he formed an organization, and we called it the Golden Rule Society Charity. Nowadays, for all of the many years that we've been doing it, we just call ourselves the Golden Rule Society. Just being kind and courteous, and we keep on going on. And again, we don't sell anything. We help others be more successful. All the churches and charities, how to help people to be more successful in their life. And it goes on and on. And sadly today, we have one of our senior advisors, wonderful man. And sadly, it got a little glitch in the get along, so to speak. And he ended up in the hospital with a a little glitch in the get along, if you will. And he's being well taken care of by the doctors. And of course, his wife is staying with him to make sure that he gets good training, good service, and all that sort of stuff. And Mary, if you've got any update on Ron Clayton, well, please let me
I
know
have
because
have not yet. We're gonna know more this afternoon. I haven't talked to him yet, but he is in our prayers, and he will make a speedy recovery.
we hope and pray for that because too many people, as we gracefully mature, and as you well know, I'm now in my 80s. No. I slipped my 80s and not in the 90s. Oh, more than 90 years old. Still trying to make it a better world for everybody that I can. And again, we're not selling anything.
You know, sir,
So,
I would love for you to talk about a project that's near and dear to my heart, and that's Intiva Health and how they are working to put out real fact-based information. But you know, there's a leader in so many things when it comes to alternative health.
okay, well, I like very much to do that because this organization, and it's just a marvelous organization, lady. And here's what happened. I'm in the San Diego area, and all that sort of stuff. And after that, I've been in combat over in Vietnam. And this gentleman who happened to be from Pennsylvania. What a coincidence. I was from the eastern portion of Pennsylvania, and my friend, Ron Clayton, he was on the western side. And that was fine. So he said, Len, you got to get yourself down here to Texas. I want you to meet this guy that was involved in combat over there in Vietnam. We're all there together. So I said, okay, I'll give it a go. Off I went down to Texas. And I met a gentleman named Alexander Valerian. Tall, handsome, very brilliant man, if you will. Sadly, he had been wounded in combat, and he was medically being discharged. So they had him down there in a training program, and also in commercials, doctorates, and all that. So I sat and spent a day with him, and I said, okay, Alexander, why am I here with you? What are we going to do? And he told me all that he was doing, and the guy's brilliant. Let me just say it, Alexander Candler. He's brilliant. And he started showing me all that he was doing, and I said, what you were doing, I said, time out. And I picked up the telephone, I called back my office here in San Diego, and I said, I want to form a corporation. They said, yes, form a corporation, which we did. And this is how I hope to knock your socks off, because the organization, it was a matter of, I don't know how long it took, but we became the #1 organization in the world. I'll say it again, in the world, supporting the medical industry, because we were supporting everybody and their brother. Everybody says, hey, we need one of these. We did. Sure, let's do it. Let's just make it better. We were helping churches. We were, not only churches, but hospitals, doctors, nursing, educational schools. And they were saying, yeah. And people were saying, hey, I made these pills, and they might help others. So they were donating pills not only in the United States, but in the world. And the U.S. loved them and is now, again, their name is, and I want you to write this down if you're listening, because it is super duper simple. And we called it the TIVA program. And now they gave it the nickname of it, the TIVA team, TIVA. And that's who they are, number one in the world. And all we do is help people. Now, if you're listening and you got aches and pains, talk to your doctor or your nurse or whoever you go with and tell them, hey, and there's some people that still say, oh, what's this TIVA team? And they learn about it and I said, this is magnificent. So I keep going on. I don't want to bore you, I don't want to overwhelm you, but do it for yourself. Look into the program, the TIVA team, and you'll see what an organization it is. Number one in the world. Head up by two wonderful men, Alexander Candelaria, and of course, my dear friend, Jim Kyle. Jim, super duper guy. He's smart as can be, nice as can be, courteous, kind, a good hard worker, and a friend forever. So, Mary, I think I got talked a little more than I should have, maybe not, but I've got to tell people about the wonderful things that are happening in the Golden Society, and they're going to put wonderful things that are happening in your organization, which you're part of, and I'm part of you, you're part of us. Wonderful stuff. And the Golden Rule Society goes here, there, and everywhere with the TIVA Health. And we keep trying to help make it a better world. So, Mary, let me slip it over to you. Tell us anything magical that you have. And I think I have to be leaving shortly. A lot of things going on. But over to you, Mary, please.
The biggest thing that's going on right now is I've partnered with an organization called specialneeds.help, and we are working on building a nationwide and worldwide directory of resources, help, professionals for special needs families and for veterans. And
Wow.
we're expanding and working every day, but it's a place for families to go and find help that they need, doctors, therapists, coaches, whatever, but also guides on what to do and how to do things. And we have support groups that we're launching next month and things for veterans who are struggling as well.
Fantastic. Mary, you're overwhelming with all the things you're doing. God bless you. And anybody who would have anything to do with Mary Stanley, you're just going to be super duper because she does everything to help make it a better world. And she does it by working with the good Lord, giving everybody the best that they can take and that the good Lord can give them. And why not? That's the way to be. Being nice to one another. Courteous and kind. Treating others the way you want to be treated yourself. Mary promised me one thing, that you're going to continue all the wonderful things that you have, because I could go on and on. Mary, if you have any more to tell us, suck it to us.
That is all I've got working on for right now. We're getting ready at our house for back to school in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
But,
oh yeah, it happens every year, doesn't it?
It does. The kids' book, or
Oh,
my son's books just came in.
Oh boy. Two wonderful children. Bright
Yes.
young lady and a tiger little man. Oh, and a wonderful husband. Wonderful husband. You've been blessed, Mary, and you are blessed, and you're sharing your blessing with everybody. Keep up, keep up the great work and keep me informed for any way that I can help you do more and what your plans are, all the programs. We're here together to work to make it a better world.
I will.
Okay. Anybody, there's our other friends that we couldn't make it, but anything else to add on, Mary? Because I'm through for the day because I've got other things to do, people to see, all that good stuff.
Nope, that was it. So we'll see you next Friday.
Okay, sounds great. And we'll keep expanding it to hit more people because, ladies and gentlemen, we take this show. At one time, we were doing a show that went to 197 countries. And I always tell people, I know that we were talking to 197 countries, but I don't know who they were or what they were doing. But the show was going there. And now we changed it to different organizations, and everybody else wants us to be part of their program to help make it a better world for everybody. So God bless us all, especially you, Mary, with all of your family, friends, and neighbors, and churches and charities. So I'll say God bless and bye for now.
Bye, sir. Have a good day.